Welcome to SerialPodcastNine.
Okay, let's start the episode.
Hi, I'm Gerard DiPeralta.
And I'm Kevin Peterson.
And I'm Ryan Benoit, and this is Serial Podcast 9. We've already been talking about very serious business. But okay, actually, I had two ideas for today's podcast, and they could coexist, or we could just talk about one. In a funny way, Gerard just started talking about the thing that I wanted to talk about anyway, which was SEMA. And then we got a little bit carried away, and now we actually have to start the conversation from the beginning. So as we're recording this, it's middle of SEMA week, SEMA 2021. I used to go to SEMA every year for media, and you guys have exhibited at SEMA. So we've all our experiences at SEMA. I don't know. I thought we could just talk about SEMA for a bit and see what our thoughts are. Like what's good, what's not.
I haven't really looked too much. I mean, I've definitely seen some cars from SEMA this year. Looks like there's some pretty good stuff. I feel like SEMA would probably be a pretty good year this year. Apparently there's not as many people, but because SEMA's on and, the automotive world needs some excitement and some normalcy in its life, I guess. So SEMA builds are back, SEMA prep is back, and Bluetooth drive shafts are back and all this other stuff. Like I saw one today where it actually had the Bluetooth symbol on the fucking diff. So they had no drive shaft, but it had the Bluetooth symbol. Like it was an actual metal piece that they had made. And I was like, well, man, some comments were you could have just built the drive shaft for the same amount of effort you put in to put this Bluetooth symbol. And then you said you saw one that had no tires or something. And then they made some meme stuff about how the global impact, blah, blah, and then they couldn't get tires for SEMA.
Yeah, it was a Jeep on its wheels with no tires. And sign next to it saying that they couldn't get the tires because of there was vaccine mandates and Bob Ross's death and toilet paper shortages and blank. And they said, so just imagine this on 37-inch tires. Which is kind of funny, I guess. Quick question. Why don't the trucks put in drive shafts?
Not done.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
So they make...
I mean, would it really be SEMA prep if it wasn't done a day before SEMA, basically? I don't know, if people just don't decide to go to SEMA until a week before it.
It's hard to keep a timeline up to date when working on cars, I find,
Yeah.
And it starts to snowball,
You kind of think.
I assume none of these people want to be showing up with a half-done vehicle, people making fun of them.
I think that they probably just
even that crazy Audi that you sent me. I don't think it has tie rods.
Tie rods at all.
There's a photo of the engine bay, and you can see the steering rack, and there's nothing coming off the steering rack.
Maybe because it's one of those steering racks that mounts on the firewall and then has the things like a Civic.
Yeah, but doesn't something have to come out of the steering rack?
It'd be weird for that car to have absolutely no tie rods. That'd be weird. But anyways, yeah.
It just looked like it was, 90% done kind of thing.
I just think it's such a flex for people to go to SEMA that maybe they don't care if it's done or not.
I mean, I don't know that much about that thing, but I don't know if it's such a big flex to go at SEMA, but I guess if you're in the right circle, if you have a car at SEMA, it's definitely a bit of a flex, but I mean, if you're in the right circles, maybe it's not that difficult is kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think to
go to SEMA from Canada being, a nobody, that's probably pretty difficult.
I mean, I think that is exactly it. That always seemed like a bragging right for some people in Canada. They'd be like, well, this was a SEMA car, or this was a SEMA show car.
Yeah, but if you live in Vegas or LA and you're like that
personality or in the car scene and are connected, it's probably not.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a car for their booth, right? So I mean, if you're building a sick car and Toyo or I don't know, Koyo or brand name X or tire brand Z, cleaning company D, needs a car.
Yeah.
Your car's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you guys went, you did not have a car there, right? You just did.
No, we just had the 10 by 10 booth.
Yeah. Booth's expensive AF.
Would you ever do it again?
Possibly.
I'd like to. Yeah. I think SEMA's cool. It's definitely a lot more than than just exhibiting. You know what I mean? Like there's it's a big deal. Like you're kind of more there for the networking and the communication and meeting, because I mean, it's a conversions place, right? Like people from literally all over the world go to SEMA. So it's like, if you want to meet the dude that, from Garage Active that like hand laid the dry carbon for the, you're going to meet that dude if you want. You could probably be HGK or, Sequential Transmissions B, anything you want. You can probably meet those people or connect with those people or whatever, right? So
yeah, that's what I did when I went, but I didn't know what to do once I met the people, so I just met them.
I mean, sometimes it's cool just to meet the people, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Then then they know your name when you message them on Instagram. You're like,
exactly.
Oh, we met at SEMA, and then you're like, yeah.
I never really had an ask of anyone.
It's a kind of a good thing too that you put a name to a face, blah blah. Or like if you wanted to do obviously a lot of business meetings happen there, a lot of schmoozing. You know what I mean? Like, we want you to be our distributor this year. Like, let's go out to whatever club or whatever, dinner or something like that. And then buy you a bunch of bottles of beer or some dinner or whatever. And, it's like an in-person thing. You kind of get to see everybody who you don't get to see. It's like once a year that you get to see all these dudes that or people, I guess, if you will. It's a perfect excuse to see all these friends of yours that you don't normally get to see.
I think it would be fun to go back now. I think it would be fun to go with Gerard and have Gerard comment on all the bills. That would be my pitch for a docudrama. Just Gerard walking around SEMA, commenting on all the bills.
Like raw, uncut footage.
Yeah.
8 hours a day.
I don't think we could do that.
Live stream.
Gerard.
Gerard.
And then you could have the chapters, and then there's only 1 out of 8 chapters where it's like Gerard likes a car.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it would be like.
So one day you pick the cars, one day I pick the cars. You know what I mean? Like different people pick the cars.
It would be so bad. I don't think we'd be friends. Gerard and I would have to take a break from each other after.
Well, you don't have to pick good cars. You could pick.
No, but I'd want to. I'd be like,
you really want to see him
cars. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'd
be picking the shit cars.
Oh yeah, well that's. I like the drama though. I don't want the low hanging fruit. I want Gerard to go after the big dog.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't mean the absolute terror.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. SEMA was weird for me when I went, I think, because it was me and the boys would go every year and we would definitely do a lot of drinking. And, we would go to the Formula D party. And one year we got into the VIP area and we shouldn't have been in there. We had no business being in that area. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Fake it till you make it.
Well, that was kind of my thought. And then I watched other people in media do actual media things. And I'm like, I don't know how to do any of this.
Okay. So I mean, you guys make me sound like I'm some arrogant prick that hates every car.
Why aren't there cooler cars, man?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always something cool about some cars, right? You know what I mean? And obviously not every car is going to be the way I would build that car. And I mean, that's because that guy builds that car. That's his car. That's cool.
What if that guy doesn't build that car, but the shop builds the car?
Maybe he paid the right shop. Yeah, maybe he paid the right shop.
When you see someone's shit and you're like, I never would have done that, but it looks good and is executed well.
I don't know. I mean, some shops build really sick cars, man. You know what I mean?
Who builds sick cars, Gerard?
If you pay the right shop, you can have a really sick car. I don't know who builds sick cars, man. If you pay
you just said that you're not so negative, but if I asked you who builds shit cars, I bet you'd have a list.
No, because it's usually just people. I mean,
all right.
If you went to a reputable shop, I don't know, man. For example, a 2JZ. If you got a 2JZ built by Rad Dan or any reputable 2JZ shop, Freed or something like that, that's probably a good 2JZ. But if you got your 2JZ built at Rick's Hot Rod shop or LJ's Garage or some shit, he's like, yeah, man, I could totally build a sick 2JZ. And it's okay,
did you just do an accent for that?
No, I didn't do an accent. I just did an accent that was different than mine. I don't know. A voice that was different than mine. Anyways, but He probably maybe can, maybe can't, but like it's just the same as a shop, as a car, man. Like you're like, oh, I want my fenders to be like this, and I want my aero to fit like this, and then you don't go to the right place, and then they do what they know, or they do what they do, and it's like maybe it sucks. But if you go to the right shop, it's gonna be sick.
Man, so there's nothing worse than paying for someone to execute your vision and then
poorly,
like doing it terribly. Yeah.
And that's like alignments, man. Like that's why we don't pay fucking for alignments anymore. It's like literally every alignment. Well, not every alignment we've had, but like 97% of the alignments I've ever paid for are trash. And it's like, I'm not paying $100, $120, $130 for someone to fuck up my alignment. I'd rather just fuck it up myself now. Like we use strings and stuff, and it's like, seems pretty good. I don't know. Race car guys use strings. They race cars. So maybe I can just drive down the street without having a crooked ass steering wheel, you know?
Good.
Maybe.
All right. What is the best car you've seen from SEMA this year?
Oh, I mean,
that R32.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked yet, but
yeah, honestly, like I haven't delved into SEMA at all. And Gerard normally goes way harder than I do, as you.
I mean, I've definitely seen some shit, but like I don't really need to see a bunch more shit. Like Garage Active R32 full dry carbon, like that car I've loved for like since its inception, and that thing at SEMA, I'm like almost choked I didn't go just to see that car. And obviously Turk Supra, man. Turk Supra is out of this fucking planet. It's unreal. Like that car is, I don't even know what to say about that besides it's amazing. Nothing can touch that car in my opinion.
So should everyone just give up then?
No, I mean, there's a bunch of different cars. Like I think that car's going for a specific thing, and whatever it was, it executed it pretty much perfectly. You know, be nice to see some color or something on it, but I mean, I do get that the body is entirely carbon fiber, and it's cool that it's like completely shown. You know what I mean?
It does have rotiforms on it.
Yeah, rotiforms are sick.
All right, fine. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
and I mean, like rotiform makes.
They're like center lug. They're like mono.
Yeah,
they are. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, and also like rotiform collabos with.
The minute you have that, it doesn't matter what.
Yeah, they're forged. They're huge. They're center lock, and they look sick. So like, what more do you want? They don't say work on them.
Yep, that's my big problem.
Imagine going to work and be like, "Hey, work! Like, I have this wheel design, and I need it to be center lock." They'd be like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah,
they wouldn't even respond to you. You know what I mean?
If you could get them, how much sicker would you be?
I do agree. I never even actually thought about that, but like you're 100% right. Like if for some reason we built a car similar to that, or like, yeah, like if I was building my stage or whatever, and then we were like, okay, we're going to go crazy. We're going to do center lock, this and that. And you did get actual from the race side of work wheels, like center lock wheels. Yeah, man, like that's next level shit. Like that's definitely worth more.
What about BBS?
BBS is sick too, but you could probably get center lock. BBS is relatively easy.
It seems like BBS would be a more an easier brand to get a center lock, like race wheel out of.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like if you had BBS center locks on your car, like would it be a flex as opposed to work center locks, which I guarantee you 95% of the people have probably never even seen.
Yeah,
like they got BBS center locks on all the Porsches. Like you could buy it, you know, on a Porsche. Right?
Very true. So I just went through Larry Chen's photos, stories from today, because I was like, he'll have like,
yeah, that's a good way to do it.
That'll be he knows what he's looking at. That guy goes all the time. He's, you know, photographer. I trust media dudes. Yeah, I will say this. What I think is kind of cool about this year, from what I can tell, is that there isn't the new IT chassis, unless I'm just not seeing it. Like maybe it's the Bronco and nobody's showing me that. But what I mean is like the 1 year, I assume it like when the Supra came out, it was all Supras. And you know,
FRS.
Like, the year I was there,
it was all FRSs. Yeah, and then it was all R35.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
And so it's like you're seeing more of like
more uniqueness,
like
originality.
Yeah. So and there's only one Z there, and that's at the Nissan booth. So that's kind of neat, right? But like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this DeLorean. That's the one that maybe I'm not
sick.
Sure about.
Oh yeah, it looks sick.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
It's like a wide body DeLorean. I don't know what the overs are made of. It just kind of is like black, and it's black in stainless steel because I guess all DeLoreans are stainless steel. It makes them perfect for time travel. That's how I know it's made of stainless steel. It's just like black and stainless steel and wide. And I thought I'd like it more maybe than I do, but whatever. It doesn't matter. There's a Tesla at the Toyo booth. So got over fenders on it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the future now. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it looks like an interesting year.
There's an LS Tesla there.
Ooh, is there?
There's also, I mean, didn't Daryl bring 2 Tesla powered hot rods?
Ford also has old F100.
I think
those are taillights. What?
On what? Gerard, you have to describe what you're talking about.
On that DeLorean, it's got like these acrylic like meshes.
Yeah.
And they are actually taillights. They're pretty fucking sick.
I don't know how I feel about it.
The DeLorean or the lights?
Just the DeLorean. I don't know.
You just don't like DeLoreans?
No, I love DeLoreans. It should run on compost though. The issue is I like Back to the Future, I think is a real problem.
In turbo, wide body DeLorean.
Yeah, all that stuff is cool. I just don't know how I feel about it being black and silver. Which doesn't matter. That car's not for me. It wasn't built for me. I didn't build it. Whatever, man. So you guys go back to SEMA. You do see value in it?
No, I'm not going to say that.
Oh, okay.
No, man. I mean, to exhibit at SEMA for us was probably in the neighborhood of, all said and done, $9,000. Was expensive because like you got to go there, you got to stay there, you got to ship all your stuff, your booth basically, you got to rent like a lot of stuff. And did we see the benefit from that? Not really, because like first couple of years you go as an exhibitor, not as a car building, in a fucking popular ass booth. You get shafted. You get put in like this tent that's like super far away from the main stage. Like it's all glitz and glory until you want to exhibit. You know what I mean? Like I remember Tiedemann went there when we were there, and they balled out. They bought like three cars and all sorts of. I don't know how much they spent.
They had like a 40 by 40 booth. It was like 2 cars, like a whole stage, basically. Like
it was savage, but I can't see them getting, like a $50,000 return on that investment. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know if they have a presence in USA at all right now. Like. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I was going to say, like, I don't know what happened. I don't even know if that shop's around anymore.
Yeah. But beyond like them coming in, like there's a few dudes with Tiedemann stuff, of course, but like you could just buy Tiedemann from Japan. There's not like a Tiedemann, USA component that like is active in like slanging parts. You know what I mean? I don't know if Tiedemann made a bunch of money off that huge investment to exhibit 3 cars at SEMA, right?
I guess maybe sometimes it's about the image you present.
Yeah. I mean, that is what it is.
That being said, if there was an automotive company out there that wanted to partake in SEMA, like wanted to benefit from SEMA, what would you recommend doing? Or what would you personally do in the future going forward?
I would try to get a car there. Because that's the thing, man. Like, I feel like all the exhibitors, as far as booths go, like, it gets pretty difficult to see. I don't know how many thousand booths there are, right? Like I know if you're going to go there, you're probably going to have something you want to see, and then you're going to go and try to find that or whatever. But like it's a lot of walking, it's a lot of searching, it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of work, man. It's like 4 days worth of like walking, and then you go to see these booths.
It's a ton of walking.
And there's booth after booth after booth. Not like you get out of the glitz and glory part, which is all the big booths like Holly and like. Like HKS and like whatever, like Toyota, Ford, all those ones. And then you go to the place, you go to the place where like it's all the little guys like SerialNine and like Tiedemann and like, I don't know, whoever is like a small dude that's trying to like get their name out at SEMA. It's like they don't have a car in their booth because it costs double the amount of money. If you just had a car in someone else's booth, I feel like it's way more valuable than having a bunch of products on display that nobody's really looking at anyways.
Yeah, I will say this as a guy who went solely to take photos as a part of the media, which I imagine when you build a giant booth, you're trying to attract the media. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like when I went to like Toyo's booth, I was like, tell me about your new tires this year. I'm so interested.
Yeah.
I was like, no, like what sick cars are here and who built this? Or, like if you're at the Falcon booth, it was because it was like, oh, Fat Lace built a car there, or like, something along those lines. I was there to see the cars built by people, not so much I wasn't like, oh, I want to hear about these products. So I imagine like, you had a car showing outside with like your stickers on it. I mean, is it just as beneficial for like, awareness to get a car that you built with your parts on it? Like,
I mean, when we were
photographed and
there,
shared?
the NSX was there,
Did you find that helped or
and
not
like
helped?
I swear that was like in the Liberty Walk booth, wasn't it?
Um,
Or was it in the Toyo booth?
Probably the
it was
Toyo
a Toyo booth.
I think the
Yeah.
R35 was in the Toyo booth, and maybe the NSX was in the Liberty Walk booth or
Did
something.
Was
they
there a
have
Liberty
a
Walk booth? No, it wasn't Liberty Walk. It was like
What
Dub
was
and
it?
like
Dub?
some
Oh, it
other
was
stuff.
Dub. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
Was it
remember.
Dub
Yeah,
booth?
like it wasn't like his booth. Like,
No.
it was like 10 cars or something. you
Yeah,
know?
it was like they asked him to put his.
Yeah.
It's like we have these spaces, and
One thing
you
I
got
will say, like
Overfender King.
if you're going to exhibit there, it's like a ton of logistics. That was even just getting there. It's like if we would have known before, it's like since we exhibited for the first time, there's like a first time exhibitor showcase, which was some special little spot where like as everybody walked in, we could put our stuff in this glass case and it'd be like, oh, come see Serial 9. They're like, this is the first time they've been here. This is where they are. But it's like we didn't find out about that till we were already there. The earlier you can be prepared for that, for everything, you know.
Yeah. There's also the total like shit side of SEMA, which like nobody talks about because everyone just sees the sick cars and stuff. It's like you mentioned logistics, bro. Like we waited 8 hours or 10 hours for someone to pick up our booth stuff. And like you can't leave because like
I mean, we
so you basically
could have left, but like
oh,
then you're
we'd
leaving
have to come back.
all of you, or yeah, you have to come back. Hopefully they're there. Hopefully all your stuff didn't get taken. Like you're just
Yeah.
gonna leave your
Yeah.
whole display there. Like
Yeah, like after everyone's gone. So basically what it is you rent the booth space and then you can either bring your own booth or you can rent, like you can pay this company to sort of like make your booth kind of for you. And then it just shows up at SEMA or whatever. And then you just assemble it, put up your booth, exhibit for your week. And then you can either keep the booth or throw the booth away. But all your stuff comes in, like all the stuff to propagate the booth comes in on like a pallet. And then it also leaves on a pallet. So you have to pack it all up. And then, logistic company A is going to like take it and bring it back, ship it back to Serial 9 or whatever. Cause you have, I don't know how many thousands of dollars worth of stuff. But yeah, like it's honestly just like kind of a bit of a shit show after. Like before it's kind of fine, but like, yeah.
And if you have the booth, it's like, well, someone has to be at the booth from the time the show, before the show opens till like after the show ends, all of the days. And then now you're trying to leave when the show ends with everybody else.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would take us like 40 minutes from the time we're like actually starting to walk away to the time we're getting in the vehicle, which is going to go sit in bumper to bumper traffic because everyone's trying to go back to the strip from the convention center at the same time.
Yeah, I don't envy the way you guys did it. The way I did it sounds way better. I just would leave whenever I wanted, get drunk, and go to press conferences.
Yeah,
free lunches.
Yeah, if you're just going to do that type of stuff, then that's all it is. That's fine, right? So
yeah.
I
mean, it sounds very tricky. I do remember hearing stories of like some of the Chinese manufacturers would just like give their parts away because it was cheaper to like.
Yeah, we took a bunch of stuff home.
Like
we took a hose wheel.
That's right. I was gonna say.
Literally, they just abandoned everything, like lug nuts, like silicone couplers, like whole wheels.
Man,
yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, all those Chinese companies were completely packed up halfway through the last day. I remember like going. I remember going by a booth and like the two people who were manning the booth were just sitting there fully asleep. Like,
yeah. And that's the reality, man. It's like, there's what we see, which is like all the sick cars and all this crap. And then there's the actual work behind it. And it's immense, dude.
So the first times I went to SEMA, we went with a business and it was like that dude would go around and do like work and we would just kind of be like, ha, this is fun. And then when we did it as media, I treated it like a media job where it was like I would go home and try to make a post every day, or I'd go back to the hotel and be like going through photos and trying to make a post of the cool things that we saw. That I felt like those traffic wise were really good for Dodo Logic. And there was a sense that because we went to SEMA for wherever we were, it just like was a sense of legitimacy at the time. I don't know if that legitimacy still exists for media people or not, but at the time, it definitely felt like it was like a sense of credibility because like Dota Logic was recognized as media by SEMA.
You're producing like original content from something that people want to see what's there, you know?
So that was neat. And then I kind of stopped going because I don't know why. I just felt like I went too many times, but I would go back. I do think I kind of agree with what Gerard said. It's like, it'd be almost better to like, it's kind of what we said in the beginning. We're like, is it a flex to have a car in SEMA? And what I'm about to say makes it seem like it is that as a company that's not like a manufacturer, it would probably just as beneficial to have like, you know, like if SerialNine were to go, it's like, well, some company wants like a SerialNine built car at their booth, and because then you're going to get the recognition for it. And
I feel like in today's day and age too, like for example, I guarantee you there's a bunch of ISs there now. Like, you know, we could have a ton of SerialNine ISs at SEMA, not even in our booth. We don't even need to have a booth, but like in the end, that's the problem is like, we didn't build those cars. They're not going to be to our vision. They're going to be someone else's vision using our parts, which may or may not be cool, but it's probably not going to be what I thought it should be. You know what I mean?
That Kevin being said, there is a car there that has your parts on it right now, right?
Right.
And it's getting quite a bit of press.
It is. Unfortunately, the parts that are on that car that you know help it look so sick, we have trouble getting right now just because of the world situation. So unfortunately, that doesn't exactly help us too much.
Well, good. All right. Does anyone have anything else to say about SEMA? Thoughts, concerns?
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's fun. It's expensive. It's fun. I do think SEMA is a bit of like a measuring stick. It's kind of cool because it is the world stage. Like if you're building a car, you know what I mean? And like, you're going to bring it to SEMA. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of like nobodies that think it's cool or think it's not cool, or like some people that are maybe not so well versed in cars could think any car is cool. But then there are the people that go to SEMA that like do know about cars, that do build cars, people that actually know stuff, and they'll see a car that's above and beyond and actually recognize it. Because I mean, getting recognition from like, you know, punk young dudes that don't know that much or haven't actually built cars, like that's not the same as getting recognition from like, you know, car building veterans or like actual professionals that like it matters what their opinion is, you know what I mean? So I
believe what you're describing is game recognizing game is what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
But is there a benefit? What do you see the benefit of that being? Because like, it kind of sounds like as a small company coming up, there isn't much room for success at SEMA. So then, but also what is the benefit? It's like, so someone who knows how to build cars sees your car and says, yo, that's actually a really sick car. What do you see the benefit of that after the fact where they're like,
well, it's the same thing as any sort of networking, right? Like if your car, like maybe like if that guy is a prominent or prolific person, they probably have some followers. They probably have some other circles that they run in, and they'd be like, yo, I saw this car at SEMA. It was like SerialNine or something like that, and had all these crazy parts on it. And they make these parts for these weird cars, but like, you know, the car was really unique and kind of cool, but like also the parts were like really, really nice. You know what I mean? And then he tells that guy and that guy tells that guy, or maybe he posted on his Instagram. I don't know, but like, it's definitely better than like if the top guy in our neighborhood saw it or the top guy in our, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who could possibly see anything that we've done here, even even like a 2,000 or 4,000 mile radius, as opposed to someone at SEMA. You know what I mean? Like Jay Leno could see my car and be like, hey, that's kind of cool. And like, that's never going to happen anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Right. What happens if Jay Leno says your car's cool and you're on Leno's garage?
Thanks, man. Like, that's pretty cool. Like,
I'd ruin it for you, and they'd be like, "Fuck you for screwing over Conan," and that would be how that ends.
Whatever.
I'm team Coco.
I'd be like, can I get you? Can I record that and like get a picture with you? Like, yo, Jalen was saying my car is sick. Like,
Can you guys both wear matching denim shirts and pants? That'd be great.
hell yeah, I'm down with that.
Doesn't he wear? Oh, sorry, I was gonna say denim shirts and pants.
Yeah, just the whole Canadian tuxedo almost.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, well that's pretty good. Because I will say at the end, when I was doing media, one of the realizations that I had was, in the same way, it was like who builds the car kind of matters. Like the personality or the person behind the car has a cloutiness to it. Mm-hmm. It also matters who takes the photo of your car.
Yeah,
so initially when I went, I was like, well, if I'm taking the same photos as Speed Hunters and Motor Maven and, whatever, insert popular like Autoblog name from that era, I was like, well, then I'm like, it's given me a fair shot at being something. And truth be told, it wasn't like that was the case, right? It was like, that's how I ended up feeling. I was like, well, why would you come look at my photos when you could go to Speed Hunters and see like Larry Chen's photos? I mean,
you can try and take photos of something that they don't capture.
Yeah, that's true.
An angle that they don't see, or like even cars that they just walk
Larry
past.
Chen sees every angle. He's the best. And so I think that was like, I kind of thought after that, to build on your point, Kevin, instead of being like, oh, there's an angle they didn't see, I was like, I should be focusing on the markets that they don't follow, So it was like, it became at that time, the first year final bout happened. It was like, well, that seemed like a big deal. Or all the Canadian drifters that build dope shit. It was like, well, people aren't focusing on that and they don't see that. Like, you're not going to make any progress when you're like going with the flow, it kind of felt like. So I changed my perspective on it. That being said, I do think it would be fun to go back to SEMA, look at cars, and have Gerard critique cars. The other thing I was going to ask you guys about, I don't know if this has legs or not, but we've kind of touched on it a few times, and it's vlogs. It's like automotive vlog. Find it very interesting that they exist, but I don't know a lot of car guys, like a lot of my car friends don't follow a ton of automotive vlogs, with the exception of Gerard. You watch a few of them.
Yeah.
And I was trying to like piece this together so that there's these automotive vlogs that exist and they're quite popular. Like we have, there's a BMXer who became a drifter who now is a professional drifter. But I don't know.
BMXer that became a YouTuber that now is a professional drifter.
Yes, that's
Adam LZ.
Yeah, Adam LZ. Everyone knows. But it's funny, whenever I hear people talk about Adam LZ, car guys will never really cop to watching it. They're like, yeah, I've like checked out a few, like one or two videos, but like it's not really for me. Like, and it's this weird.
Yeah, I hear that.
That weird stigma. And then
I watch it.
You watch it? Do you watch all of them?
I don't watch all of them just simply because I don't have time. But like, I mean, like almost all the episodes are good, man. I mean, every episode that I do watch, I mean, even my wife likes watching Adam LZ. It's pretty dope, actually. Yeah.
So that's good. Kevin, what do you watch?
Yeah, I don't know. I watch
How to Start a Fire.
Yeah, How to Start a Fire. I watch paint drying videos, grass growing, shadows getting longer.
Shadows getting longer.
Yeah.
Shadows getting longer.
Shadows getting longer sounds like a sweet line to a song. Also, How to Start
like
a Fire.
Sweet title.
Yeah. How to Start a Fire. Here's a pro tip. You can't start a fire without a spark. That's from Bruce Springsteen, Dancing in the Dark.
All right, Dad. Thanks.
I love Bruce.
Thanks, Dad.
I saw him in concert. It was magical. All right. So Kevin watches no automotive vlogs.
I didn't let him finish. I just interrupted him rudely with some shit.
He was not going in a direction where it was going to be like he was going to pull out a dinger and be like, oh, but I also watch all of Hoonigan's videos. Like,
I watch some of Hoonigan's videos. I much prefer the Hoonigan media to Donut Media. Okay. I watch basically all the Noriaro videos. And then, I feel like I just like, by association, kind of know what's going on from Gerard watching and talking about everything all the time.
Yeah, Gerard just talks at his computer. I've been at the SerialNine office for about 3 weeks now, and I have noticed that Gerard just talks about whatever he wants and hopes that someone catches wind.
Yeah, like whether anyone's listening to him or not.
Yeah,
Gerard's having a conversation.
Yeah. Great. Nariaro is, did I say that right?
Noriaro. Alexi.
Yeah, Alexi seems to be the exception. And also on the day that we're doing this podcast is the day that he just released his video of his 100 has burnt to the ground.
Yep.
And the entirety of the car community on my social media seems to be very like choked up about it. And that's a very nice thing that happens when someone ruins their car. It's a funny thing because Gerard, isn't like one of the most commented on and engaged photo you have is like your wrecked Aristo.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
Yeah, and it's like it's like tragedy strike. It always takes tragedy for people to tell you how much something meant to them, I guess.
Yeah. Honestly, like I didn't know that many people even gave a shit about my car at all. But like when they saw the smashed up photo of it, they're like, yo, like, so sorry, I love that car. Build was sick. It was an inspiration, this and that. And it's like, oh, well, I didn't know that at all. Thanks.
Yeah. I wonder what your funeral will be like.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
it's funny because my wife and I talked about it all the time. I always am like, yeah, I wonder what people would say at my funeral, this and that. And she's like, how do you think about that so much? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I want to know like who's going to be there, like what they're going to say about me. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, fully. Me too.
But I was going to say was, yeah, like that when I made that little video of like the Celsior driving it around when after it got all wrecked, like same thing. It was just like a massive outpouring. Because I don't know, people know, you know, they like, oh, started following you because of that car, and then maybe you have a different car, and like all of a sudden it's like, oh man, like that's why I know you, you know.
Anyway, back to the blogs. Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing. So Alexi seems to be the exception to the rule. Like every car guy can like Alexi. Adam LZ. I'll say LZ because I'm Canadian.
I mean, not everybody likes Alexi.
No,
I know some people that don't like
I
Alexi.
think people probably shut their mouth if they don't. I feel like, I don't know. I haven't seen anyone like outright criticize. I've never heard anyone outright criticize either. Whereas I've heard people, because Adam LZ started kind of like meandering into our world a bit, right? Because like he went to Super D in the Midwest, and like Simba drove against him.
Did you say meandering or neandering?
I don't know what
it sounded like
said.
You said meandering.
It's meandering. It's
like
Neanderthaling.
Oh, he's Neanderthals right in there.
It'd be sweet to drive with Adam LZ, man. I mean, I fucking would suck, but whatever. He's a pretty good driver.
Well, no, he is, and I get it. I also understood why Gerard would be into it as soon as I started watching it. I was just, I guess, trying to figure out, like, when Hoonigan started out, they weren't greeted with open arms by the automotive community. Is that kind of fair to say?
I don't think anyone starting out is greeted with open arms normally.
No.
And I feel like maybe the only reason Alexi got a pass is because he was maybe doing it before anyone else. Whether it was as popular or not, like he's been vlogging literally since like 2007 or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, he wrote magazine articles and like he's always been in car media. So that's where I feel that like you can't.
He's grandfathered in.
He it's like I was doing this shit 20 years ago. Like how are you gonna talk shit, sort of thing, you know?
Right.
Like, but also, I mean, Adam LZ has been making videos since I can't remember, man. Like
2013, I think.
How to do a bar spin. Like I watched that video. He was like 12 years old. I don't know how old he was, but he was young as fuck. Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? So he's been like, as far as like a YouTuber, he's definitely grandfathered in.
Yeah, but not in the car scene because he did. And I thought about this. So I hadn't watched a lot of his videos, and I went and watched some of them. And then I went back. I watched the how to do a bar spin, which I don't need to know how to do a bar spin, but I watched it. He was definitely a YouTuber. He did that, but he didn't get into, like, he started out with BMWs, it looked like, and then around 2015 or 16, I think he got an S13. And then there became the shift where he's like, I'm going to try drifting now.
Yeah.
I never paid any attention to Adam LZ because I guess I'm as guilty as every other car guy who's just kind of like, I was here first, and what are you going to tell me?
Yeah.
Which is a shitty thing. But then even when I watched it, I was like, yeah, in 2016, I probably didn't want to listen to someone explain an S13 to me. I had already had that car, driven it, and decided I was moving on to my next project.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a fountain of knowledge that I could bask in or drink from. It was just kind of like, all right, like maybe you'll be right, maybe you'll be wrong. And now this dude is super successful in drifting. And it's
not only that, man. I mean, the drifting, I think, is come second. Like, he's super successful in his, YouTube career or his career within that realm. You know what I mean? Like, that I think is good. And, the drifting, I feel like he just YouTubes about his life, and he just really likes whatever, BMXing, cars, drifting. And then now it's like literally living everyone's dream, but just filming it. And it's it's how can that not be sick? You know what I mean? Like, but
I wonder if that's what jades people a bit, is like he's
because they're jealous, man.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of think. That's a little bit it.
Really, like that compound, I think was like 2 or 3 million. Like, you were looking at $2 or $3 million houses right now, and it's like I could buy an entire, I don't know how many acre compound for that. Like, that's so sick. But like, people are probably like, yeah, like, fuck that. Like, oh, like he's got this huge compound and he's got a dyno and he's got like 15 cars and he's like, makes millions of dollars off YouTube. Like, fuck him. You know what I mean? It's like, well, yeah, not really. Right. Like, why? Like, what's wrong with that?
I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why is
I mean, you could hate on anyone if you really want to, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But why?
But why?
Yeah.
I kind of agree with what like Ryan said though, too. It's just like, all right, well, if you hear this like new guy, like coming to the scene and you've been doing it for 10 years, like, it's like, you don't really have a lot of reason to watch this guy's video of like Ryan said, he's explaining to something to you that you've done for 15 years, but like maybe there is much more to it,
Yeah.
But I don't know, even that video where they're doing like the subframe bushings on the 100, it's like, I don't know, they like go to the shop, like they're putting them in, like then they go drive around, they go for dinner.
Anyways, and then he works on his car some more, and then what?
I know, and then the video's over. It's like I guess it's content, but it's like
it's not the content we're used
like,
to.
You want to know how to put the subframe bushings in,
or yeah, I don't know. Or like, yeah, teach me something, or like yeah, I don't know. It's just like,
tell me what the difference was.
The vlogging things, I'm not such a huge fan of, I find.
Because it's just like, hey, look at me, I'm doing this now. Look at me, this project car. Look at me, that. Like,
like I've tried to watch some Rad Dan videos. It's like he's just walking around and he's like, okay, now I'm gonna go do this on the car, and then like, yeah, I don't know. I don't prefer the vlogging style of videos, I guess,
because of the narrative,
to the informational style.
Yeah, or like where you're, even if the person's filming and talking about it, but not filming their face talking to the camera.
And I think this is I'm actually with Kevin, and this was my original thought, was like, I've always been more keen on the content creators that do like crazy edits, like that film and then edit, like show me
Casey
something.
Neistat type shit?
No, like Will Rogie type shit.
but that's like
fun.
Smile Factory.
Yeah,
Smile Factory is crazy.
Yeah, Smile Factory is great. That's some like crazy original content. I like shit like that, where it's like someone's.
But he doesn't make a video every day. He doesn't make a video every 2 days.
No, and I get it. But then I wonder, it's like, because it's not the style of content that Kevin and I might engage in, and Kevin and I would also engage in with separate types of content, I think is fair to say. But yeah, I always think, like, when I originally watched those, I was like, well, the production value, like, why would I watch this when I can watch a dude like shoot a drift video on like a red cam and then edit it and make it like crazy and have that type of like the artistic endeavor of it. And then I'm like, oh, like Kevin said, I'm just going to watch a guy walk around and then have dinner. And then like, maybe he builds a car.
Also like, man, maybe you're just not the demographic for those videos, right? Like, those dude makes a video every day or every 2 days or whatever it may be. Like, people watch those videos. Like, that's what they do. They come home from like school or work or whatever.
They have like
watch an Adam LZ video.
75,000 views in 24 hours, I swear. Like,
it's wild. And I think that is it. And like
that Noriaro video is 17 hours old and has 217,000 views.
Yeah.
So nearly 250,000 views in just over 12 hours. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's probably not a normal thing for his.
no,
channel,
I agree. I agree.
But still, like, unbelievable nonetheless.
And I mean, that's the thing too, man. Like with Adam LZ's videos, it's like he's creating content like general. It's not like if he created content on all his shit, like, oh, how to put a Barra motor into a Mustang, like, you know what I mean? How to put a sequential transmission on a Barra motor, like how to build a Drift S15, like, you know what I mean? There's just so much stuff that like you're just kind of getting the gist of it. And there's this car and that car and this project and that project and like
Right.
this
So
compound, and you know what I mean? Like,
so are you saying that he's kind of just like giving you like just the hits? Like it's like in a way.
No, I mean he's creating original content. I just don't think like,
because it's not a tutorial then. Like I'm not learning how to build a car. He'll just tell you like, hey, I put these 3 parts in the car. Now we're gonna
and like watch me shred.
Yeah, let's talk about Supercar Blondie.
Well, I mean, okay, I want to bring something up. And then what about the channels that I don't really enjoy? It's like the channels that just have like the like look at me content. Like, I mean, there's like Whistling Diesel, there's that Haggard Garage, and like a bunch of other those ones where they just kind of like fuck shit up. And I guess it's like kind of sick in a way that's like a wow factor or whatever. Like Whistling Diesel builds some crazy stuff for sure, but it's like he also does a bunch of like pretty crazy stuff that is like a lot of people really hate on, which probably gets him a bunch of views, but it's like it's all
like a feedback cycle of like destruction and like almost cringe a bit.
Yeah. It's like what?
Yeah, and it's very sort of like what's the word? Like embellished. You know what I mean?
Dramatic, over the top.
Yeah. But it is funny, and I mean, like it does have its place. It's just not what I prefer, right? But yeah, and also, yeah, I mean, I like Noriara's videos for sure. They're very like, what's the word? Like, I don't know, natural. They're definitely not. Yeah. They're not very frequent, which I kind of wish he would be more frequent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, he did say he like quit work to do this full time, like just before this whole incident happened. And that's he was supposed to be like, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be releasing videos way more often. But like, I agree. Like they are few and far between, and it's not like a consistent thing. It's not like you're like, okay, like it's the second Tuesday, like here's the Noriara video. It's just kind of like, oh, hey guys, I released a video.
And it is very just like a small, you know, it's like usually 15, 20 minutes long. It's like, hey, I went to this event. Here's this. I hit up this car show. Check this out. Here's some K-drifting. Like, you know, I dropped my car off at this body shop, or I stopped to talk to this girl. You know, here's the R's meeting. You know, it's like, it's pretty like hit, blah, 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 like done. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I mean, there's dudes like Milky Diamonds, Samit, like you're saying, right? Like dudes in Japan that like basically those are very driving. I mean, Milky Diamonds is a very, very driving oriented channel, and like, you know, Samit heavy on the driving and like building, driving, and like just Japan sort of stuff, which is really cool. I watch Samit.
I watched one video and I don't even remember who it was by. And this is what kind of like got me on this. It was like a dude in Japan. I'm like, I'm going to watch a vlog from a guy in Japan going to a car meet. And then, so he did his vlog style where it felt like there was just a camera strapped to his head. Maybe not. I don't know. And then he was like, oh, there's this other vlogger doing the exact same thing. And I was like, man, there's a whole world of like vloggers out there that I'm not aware of, but there's this market for automotive people. And it feels like, especially in Japan, to like just go to a Japan car meet, walk around and point at the cars that look kind of like look cool or wild or rare or crazy. And I was just like, it kind of blew me away. And then I thought like, I wasn't super keen on it because I felt like I wanted to experience that myself if I ever went. And I didn't know if like someone else walking around doing it for me quite hit the same notes. But
I was going to say, like, I'm not trying to talk shit on anything, but it feels like just like a different branch of the same tree of what you do, though. It's like,
no, you're right.
Like, you know, like for you, it's about getting the angle and the lighting and the exposure and the shutter speed. And like for them, it's about like
the car
and talking to the person and filming everything you do so that you have enough content to be doing this. I'm sure it's like equally as much work, just different work.
And
Right.
realistically, man, like the word content itself is kind of like what the fuck is content? Content literally is content. It could be fucking anything, man. You could be like, yo, like, hey, did you know that this fucking type of beetle like molts and does this weird thing, and like once one day a year, it turns green, and like some dude's filming a beetle turn green for one day, and like I don't know, 20 people or 2,000 or 20,000 people are like super stoked on this beetle.
Took me a while to understand that you weren't talking about a Volkswagen.
No, I meant like a real beetle. Like,
yeah, no, I got it.
You know what I mean? Or like
it molted, bro. It molted.
How to cut a hole in your drywall to route cables. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's millions of videos. That's content. And like for us or for the people watching these videos, like Adam LZ, they want to see all of his cars. They want to see him drifting, this and that. For Samet, they want to see him do these reverse entries. They want to see Yashio Factory. They want to see, like him compete or whatever. And Milky Diamonds, they want to hear him like yelling and being all stoked on doing a reverse entry or whatever it may be. And they want to see like this dude blow up a 4x4 or drive through the mud. I don't know, whatever. But like, it's literally anything, man. And like,
I will admit that when I was like looking into Adam LZ, I went down a rabbit hole and I felt like I got very invested very quickly in everything. And I was like, what happened to his girlfriend? Did they get married? And then I was like Googling it. And I was like, they got married and they got divorced. And like, what happened? And I was like, I need to stop. Like, I'm going overboard into this. And so I do get it.
Stalker.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't hate on any of these things.
But some of the shit's cool. Like driving to McDonald's in a Formula D car on the street with a sequential gearbox. Like, I want to know what that's like. You know what I mean? That's sick. Like,
yeah. So here's a fun one. Kevin said you said you are not as keen on donut media.
Yeah.
Gerard, where do you land on donut?
I mean, I don't really know the difference. I don't know who's who or what's what. I mean, I watch Hoonigan videos, I guess. That's the burnout and the drifting one, and like with Hurt and like all those guys. Donut is like what the like info videos about like, hey, all about an JZX90. Yeah. I mean, those are kind of more produced. I wouldn't really say those are like vlog style or anything. Those are just like a different type of video.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch both of them, man. I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, there's misinformation and this and that. I mean, definitely there's some stuff that's good. There's some stuff that's bad. But like overall, man, if you don't know a single thing about a JZX90 or 100, like you could probably watch that video, take it with a grain of salt and do your own research. Like, it's not like they stabbed you in the heart because, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like, basically like just take everything with a grain of salt. There's not a single video that's like the be all end all, right? Like,
yeah.
Man, Drift Bible.
Yeah. I mean, there's stupid shit in every video, right? Like,
yeah.
Like I made an ultimate CD009 into IS video, and it's like, is that the fucking best video? I mean, I don't know, but like, we definitely have a lot of experience doing that stuff, and like other people.
The best video.
It's the ultimate video, I believe.
Yeah. Yo, the hammers are edited to the beat.
Yeah. That's how you know Gerard's edited a thing. It's like, this is what I care about. Hammers on the beat. Gerard had me watch that, and he's like, Did you get it? Did you see the hammers on the beat? And I'm like, yeah. It's pretty cool, right? It's like, yeah, Gerard. But I feel like I'll take flack then too, because I know that Donut doesn't. It seems like Donut's not as well liked. Like, I don't understand why, but like, I definitely went through a phase.
I think it's the hosts.
Yeah, but also like, don't they like take other people's media and not credit them? Isn't that why?
Yeah, they took
like
Alexi. Well, I think they were disliked, even not disliked, but called out for like they took Alexi's media without like crediting them. I've seen them take other people's media, and sometimes people are like just fucking jazzed to have their content be in another person's video.
Yeah.
Even though they.
But I mean, if they're spreading wrong information and then using your shit, so making you look. If you're a media person, like, you know what I mean, they're taking your YouTube content to make their YouTube content.
then which
Yeah.
gets more views and then creates income for them. And then it's like, I guess,
I mean,
in
people
that sense-
re-upload videos like that all the time, or they
Yeah.
film like reaction to. So when
Yeah,
you try and
that's so
find
funny.
something, yeah,
those fuckers.
There was
No,
one I was following. I was following this one dude for a little while. I don't know who he is. Says he's a professional drifter. I don't know. And a lot of it was like reaction to videos. It's like my reaction to this. And it's like, I watched a few of them and was kind of like, do people watch this stuff? Like,
I think some people do, but
I want to do a reaction to video, like Gerard's reaction to SEMA, like Gerard's reaction to like.
Well, we've already have the Gerard
That's funny,
video for
right?
SEMA. It's Gerard commenting on all the vehicles. I
Yeah,
mean,
that'd be
maybe
pretty-
you couldn't do it it would be funny to watch you do it at SEMA, like, but maybe you couldn't do it at SEMA because like some of the builder of the car might hear you with your.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to just put on your iron suit and be like, look, man, I'm just gonna say my mind, and whether you like
I'm
it or
gonna
not,
do
that's how
what
it
I
is.
do. Yeah, I do think, and it's funny because now that I've watched those, it's like I probably would watch a vlog of you and Kevin doing stuff,
Yeah.
but that's probably because of my own personal bias. Like I think you two are funny, but I don't know if.
I mean, that's part of it too, man. Some vloggers or some YouTubers, unfortunately, just aren't very personable. You know what I mean?
Right, but
and I mean, sometimes it gets you, but sometimes the content makes up for that, or sometimes the frequency of the videos makes up for that, and then you kind of just become sort of like accustomed to them. It's like a friend. Like maybe you meet this dude and he's kind of like gnarly looking and like super annoying, and you're kind of like, I don't know, I don't really like this guy, but then he's like really nice and like has cool cars, or like he's always doing nice things for you or something. So you're kind of like, oh, like he's like a friend. You know what I mean?
Are you describing me underhanded?
No, I just mean generally that would be a situation where, like, because on YouTube you are in the camera, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like there's
the more you watch, like, you definitely like feel like a little bit of like family, because like you're looking at the person, you're hearing them talk, you're like listening to their opinions all the time,
Right.
Yeah.
And like, so I should say this as whatever, I'm not actually trying to criticize any of these people, because that would be very much the pot calling the kettle black, because like we have a podcast of us just talking about shit. There's probably like
exactly
60 some hours of us talking at this point on the internet about nothing. So like, I'm not mad at anyone. I was, I guess, trying to understand the car guy reaction to videos, like to newcomers to the arena, how we react when people show up in our space, especially like,
I mean, there's definitely a bunch of shit about that, like about the JDM space, and like people were choked because this person was like infringing on that scene and this person was infringing on that scene, and like there's definitely a bunch of shit about that. You know what I mean?
I've seen like 4 videos recently about like JZX pricing, what you need to know.
Yeah.
It's like,
we did that podcast months ago.
Yeah. People got choked because one guy made a video about like, oh, you could just buy a GX car and like swap it and stuff. And
was his name like, Gerard?
No. I think it was actually a Samet video. But like, if you didn't fucking know that to start with, and like maybe you don't know what's involved in doing those swaps, like, like I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, you could buy a fucking Miata and put a V12 in it if you want.
Like there's so many reasons for someone to get upset. That like they feel like you're giving out information that they had like to struggle to learn, and like now they,
so
like,
gatekeeping a little bit.
I guess so.
Yeah, early on when people would talk about Hoonigan, like they weren't very kind about Hoonigan, I felt, and it feels like Hoonigan definitely like worked their way into the hearts of car guys to some degree.
Well, that's literally it. I mean, that's one thing I want to say about YouTube is like there's staying power, man. Like anybody can be a YouTuber for a day, for a week, maybe even for a month, maybe even for a year. Anybody can be a YouTuber for a year, but like to be a consistent YouTuber for 5 years, for 10 years, and to create remotely exciting content, and like you got to be working, man. Like, you know how hard it is to fucking edit a video, right?
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? And you're making one a day. Like, fuck, man, you got to get the content, you got to get the footage, you got to get the fucking, you know, you got to do the editing, and then you got to upload that, and then you got to figure out what you can do the next day. Can you imagine doing that every day? I couldn't even imagine, dude. That's probably like an extremely hard job, no matter what the fuck your content is.
And the consistency, and that's what all these people that are very successful have in common, is the consistency to do what they do, but it requires teams to do it.
Yeah.
And I totally get that. Like, Gerard, you and I have been working on a video for like what feels like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're like, that wasn't the initial plan of what we were going to do, but that's just what happened.
And in the grand scale of things, I don't even think the video's like that great. Like, I mean, It is what it is. Like, it's what we have, but it's definitely not a 2 or 3 week long.
No,
video, you know,
like, that's exactly it. It was just like, okay.
When we were at Final Bout, Hurt was on the phone to someone at Hoonigan, and he was like talking about the things that they had shot on the drive out, and how like they would be able to layer them into this video to tell a story. And then they like, you know, then I could, from what I could grasp, they were like, all right, well, you need to like get these shots that you didn't get on the way out. We need that, you'd have to get them while the cars are in the trailer on the way back, sort of thing, you know, like to complete the storyboard of scenes that
there's a vision there that needs to be like connected.
Yeah, and it's like the story and the vision are already set out before.
Yeah, it is just a funny thing, I guess. It seemed like at one point there was shame attached to if you were like kind of like a fan of some of these YouTube pages, and some of them have slowly like dragged.
That's the thing.
I feel like maybe like the Hoonigan hate was like back when like they were selling Hoonigan stuff at Zoomies at the mall because of Ken Block and stuff.
You know what, I kind of, and I'll attest to this. I'll say this. It was that, to me as a guy, and it's not at all the same, and I understand that, but as a guy who ran a media site and kind of like couldn't really connect the dots, it was like you watched someone enter the game halfway through and do it way better than you. Kind of. It'd almost be like you were playing a video game at an arcade, and then you're halfway through the game, and then someone walked up and had just a fucking roll of quarters, and they're like, I can't lose. And they just pumped them into the machine, joined your game, and kept playing, and then did it better than you, and then made it. It just kind of felt like the same thing. It was like,
but that's the thing. There's always someone better than you, man.
Yeah, and that is it. But that's a hard lesson to learn in the car scene, because it is ego driven, right? There is always somebody better than you. There is somebody that's always going to have a better build than you in another place. Or, you know, I mean, if I could hearken back to the beginning of this podcast of what we cannot use, it's a little bit of that sense of that. Like the ego gets in the way, and, you know, other people are probably thought like with Hoonigan, it was like it seemingly came out of nowhere, made a big splash, and then continued to make a big splash. But it was like everyone else in the scene at that time seemed like they were fighting, and then someone like swooped in and was very successful. And I think there's a lot of that could have been me if all these dots connected, even though
I mean, shit, it could have been me. I was making YouTube videos in 2006, 7, 8, and I like, you know what I mean? But like, I didn't keep with it. I thought it was rad. We used to love doing it. It was like hilarious. But then we just stopped doing it. You know, I wasn't friends with that dude anymore. We stopped kind of doing that shit. I got more serious about the business. Like, but yeah, like, could have been anyone, man. Could have been you. Could have been me. Could have been Kevin. Could be Dominic. Who knows, right?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. And so I do feel like we do, as car guys, maybe it is just like a territorial thing. It's like when someone enters the scene and does it better.
But that's the thing, is I'm always kind of stoked for most of those guys. As far as the vloggers, like I don't really like totally hate any of them, or like not hate, but like dislike, I guess, if you will.
Right.
Yeah, I just probably won't watch them if I don't like them, right? But like,
yeah,
exactly. And none of them are like
ultimate vote.
None of them are like pissing me off. They're like, oh, like entering my space and talking about this shit that like I know more about. I mean, maybe there is going to be somebody, you know what I mean? But I know what I know, and I have the experience that I have, and
So what happens if some like new guy started coming out and basically like stepping on all the toes of everything that you were trying to do, but just like got further faster and all of a sudden took over and was everything SerialNine wanted to be? How would you feel about that?
I mean, as SerialNine goes, or as like a vlogger goes?
I mean, I guess he would be vlogging about his aftermarket car parts company.
But I mean, that's the thing. I'm not a vlogger, man. So I can't. I mean, that's no. But like, I can't.
You're
I can't
almost
be like
a vlogger.
I can't be like, yo, fuck.
If
that
you just
guy.
turn the camera on, you're vlogging because you're talking all day anyway.
Yeah,
you might as well
I should do that. You know what I mean?
I think the question goes either way. It's like, is it a vlogger, or if anyone came in and was doing what you were doing and then did it better, faster, and delivered on it, would you be?
That's entirely possible, man. You know what I mean? And I can't really be mad at that. Like, I'm doing my best. This is all I got. You know what I mean? Like, there's obviously things that I could have.
Way more polished answer than what you gave us at the beginning of this podcast.
Probably the reason why that chaps me so much is I can't build my dream. I never could, and I would love to do that. I'd love to have the money. Like I was saying basically, yeah, at the beginning of the episode, like the most balled out car that we've built is my fucking Blit in the Stagia. But like I said, I'm still looking for used seats. I'm still, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm not buying a fucking OS LSD.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if you worked on that Stagia for years, it's going to be that vision.
Would it look like a Porsche Taycan? Because I feel like that's the only way it's going to put a smile on Gerard's face.
I don't know, man. It is what it is. It's just there's more to it. There's more to it than what you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's nuances with why, you know what I mean? But like
car scene is a weird place for egos, is what
you're really getting at that. Yeah.
It's a super, like, Kevin said it in an earlier episode where it's like you go to the car meets always get ruined kind of because of egos. It's all these different crews show up and every crew has like one big dick swinger, and what happens when the other crew's big dick swinger needs to, like, it becomes like a battle of the alphas. And I think that just continues out into like the social media sphere of cars. Is like,
that's what SEMA is. It's the ultimate battle of the alpha.
Man. Like,
it's the ultimate dick measuring contest.
It for sure is. I think. I mean, there's people.
I mean, that's the thing is if you're pulling out 100% of your dick and that's all the dick you got, then sure, that's cool. But like, if you're pulling out, you know what I mean? Like, you're pulling out 80% dick, you aren't competing on a fucking level stage.
I don't.
So what happens
know
when your 80%
means.
is already bigger?
Yeah. I remember going to SEMA when we went. There was guys there that would build
with really big dicks.
They would build business plans around their car. So like, they'd be like, I'm getting this car built and this is my proposal. So much like you would say for a sponsorship proposal, what you guys
exactly how it is
would have done. But it was just based around a car, not driving, not going to events.
I know.
It's the existence of a car. And it's like, so if I spend this money on this car, the return on investment should be this much. Do you want to be a part of this? And then they would launch like a merchandise line based off of their car. I don't think that those things necessarily went anywhere, but it definitely seemed like people were kind of trying to be the next night runner, I guess, while going to SEMA, because Reggie never had to go to SEMA.
I guess that's the thing. Like, as a car builder and as a car
owner,
like vision designer, if you will, or whatever you want to fucking call it, like, I get stoked on cars that people build. I don't really get stoked on cars that people buy. Like, yeah, it's built, but you still bought it. Like, you didn't build. Not that you had to weld everything or do, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to like 100% build the car, but like, it's kind of sick when the dude who actually thought the car up built the car, or at least the majority of it. You know what I mean? Because like, yeah, you could be like, oh,
I mean, I think we can all appreciate that for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't I don't know. I to a degree, fine. I'll be the devil's advocate and say like, if someone cares that much about a car to work the amount of hours or do whatever and put the money into a car and have it built to their vision and they didn't lift a finger, fine. Like if they want to pay someone to do the work, I mean, if I was I don't even know how much money it would take, but I was going to say millionaire. But if I was and then I was going to say gajillionaire, like that was a real number. If I was a millionaire, sure, I would just be like, someone else build my car to my vision. And I don't know if that takes away from it. Like, I think if you just came to someone and were like, build me a clout car, then yeah, that's probably a bit of an issue. But if you're like, hey, I want to build a drift spec whatever car, this is what I kind of want it to look like, make it happen, whatever it takes.
I have a good example for you.
Okay.
Altamaniac, right? You know what the Altamaniac is?
I only know Animaniacs from Warner Brothers.
Altamaniac is Chris Forsberg's new like Altima tube frame, the most ridiculous drift car on the planet. It's actually super, super sick. It's like insane. And like, yeah, I don't know if Chris Forsberg, how much he physically did on that car, but in my opinion, that's Chris Forsberg's car. I give him all the credit because that's like, that thing is fucking crazy. And like, if he thought that up and had his hand in like manipulating that plan into fruition, that's pretty crazy. And like, I feel like that type of fabrication and that level of car is probably far beyond most normal people's scope of building. However, that car is.
I feel that like both him and Turk, though, they're like both professional drivers that like go around the globe driving cars.
Yeah.
So they have many fingers in many race ties already. So it's not crazy. It's not so out of left field for these guys to be able to build these like 11 out of 10 like cars.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I'm also going to put this there. There's a bit of you said, I don't know how much he had to do with it or not.
As far as the actual fabrication.
So then like, there's a bit of sense of like ignorance is bliss. And then you can attribute the car to Forsberg or Turk as well.
Well, I mean,
like,
what about that dry carbon in the dry carbon R32? It's like maybe some like absolutely rich Japanese businessman went there and was just like, make me the absolute craziest car you ever could. And it's like, does that take away from that how crazy that car is? That like,
yeah, but that's not one car. That's a car that you could buy. Anybody could buy that car. That's a garage active. They make all those parts.
Yeah, exactly. So like, does that take away from it at all? Like if you were to go and buy all those parts and build that exact car, it's no vision of a car. It's an exact cookie cutter replica. Like it's.
But I mean, for me, it's not that car. It's the fact that car is their demo car, and that's like that to me is like the garage active car. I don't know who fucking owns it, but like that's the garage active demo car.
That's what I'm saying. It's like when you see a car of that caliber, it doesn't really matter who owns it or who put the wheels on versus the body kit versus like the fab work. It just all has to come together and like and work, you know.
But I mean, that whole thing was conceived by Garage Active, right? They made the carbon parts. They took the molds off the R32. They like cut the R32 up and like, you know what I mean?
But maybe the person that flipped the bill for it is just
the person. Well, I'm just saying it's like before you were like, well, like they didn't really do any work on the car. So like the car to me, like it's a little bit less, but it's like, well, when you see a car that's 11 out of 10, it doesn't really matter that like who did the work. It's like, it's still there. All the work's been done. It's the piece of art is finished. It doesn't matter that they had like a master woodworker and a master metal worker to get the art done.
Yeah.
I
mean, Gerard, what's your favorite movie of all time?
I don't know, man. I haven't watched movies so long. I couldn't tell you, man.
Damn it.
Couldn't tell you.
Frozen.
Frozen, yeah.
Frozen.
Yeah. Who directed? Kevin, what's your favorite?
Dead Snow 2.
Dead
you ever watch those?
No.
Have you watched those?
No.
They're like B horror movies. They're fucking hilarious.
I'm still out here trying to fucking find Toto's Mile.
Toto's Mile.
That one to drop.
Yeah.
Dropping soon.
There's a theory. So there's I don't want to get too far into this, but there's like there's like the auteur theory, which means like the director of a movie is the artist of everything. But then some other people might argue that like, no, that's not true. A film art is determined by everyone that worked on it, everyone that touched it. And that's like this probably not as much of a popular way to look at it, because everyone wants to think one single person is held accountable for the vision of the film and the way that it's executed, and they oversee everything. But that's really not how it is. You know, like a director does one job, an editor does another job, a producer does another job, actors do a different job, and everyone comes together and makes that film. It feels like Kevin's a proponent of that model of like, hey, when it comes to building cars, it's an everyone team. And Gerard, it feels like the perspective that you want to take is like the vision belongs to the car builder, and then I want to
the
say
mastermind.
like, the mastermind, and then I want to say like the vision belongs to whoever brought it to the table. We're all coming at it from very different perspectives, but I do think that all of our perspectives are somewhat self-serving and like in the sense of self-preservation, because Gerard, you would see yourself as a mastermind. I don't see myself as a mastermind. I see myself as bringing something to the table and saying, I want a car that does this. And then Kevin is the socialist of cars, I suppose. Everyone puts in.
I don't even know if that's true though, because with your little analogy, I kind of feel that like it is the director. Like sure, the bodywork guy and the wiring guy and like they're all doing their job, but it's still like if the bodywork isn't how the guy, like the original dude wanted it, then it's up to him to say something to execute the vision that he had, you know.
Yeah, this goes a little bit deep, but the director may not be a great editor in the same way that the vision guy might not be a great wiring guy.
Yeah,
exactly. His vision.
Yeah, I mean that's just it, right? Like,
and I think what I was just trying to say was that like when you see a car where the vision is executed extremely well, you don't stop to think about like, well, did the person who visionized this like do the wiring, and like were they the one who did the cage? And it's like it doesn't matter when it's all done great, when it all comes together.
Yeah. I mean,
like going back to the SEMA thing, I don't see I see the personality behind the car. So it's like if I see Hertz's car, I'm like, well, that's Hertz's car, and that's his vision. So maybe
exactly.
But I don't know.
Example.
I don't know how much wrench time he put in on his SEMA builds, or maybe we can ask him someday. But I guess I'm just saying it's like, I see the people behind the car. So I do kind of agree with you. It's like, that's a Forsberg car. But in the same token, it's like when Mark Arsenal unveiled his cars when he did the SEMA thing, I was like, well, that's Mark Arsenal's car. Like that's a Fat Lace car. I wasn't like, oh, it's yada, 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 like it was.
I guess if it's like a company and shit too, it's like, I mean, if I build a car, it's probably not going to be like, oh, that's a Gerard car. It's like, that's a SerialNine car. Like if Kevin, Kevin's car is very different than my car, but somehow it's still a SerialNine car. But like, I mean, that vision is all Kevin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're both SerialNine cars. Those are both company cars.
Yeah. But I mean, also, I guess this is kind of interesting. It's like, well, when you see these cars and it's like, oh, it's sponsored by Toyo Tires and Koyo Rads and Garrett Turbo, and it's sponsored by ECU Master, and it's sponsored by Rotiform, and it's sponsored by Radium, and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, like it takes all those components to build that car. All those companies probably helped out a bit, but they didn't build that car for that person. Like that person still had to execute the vision. And like, I don't now think of it as a socialist car with all of these companies. I still think of it as the person who brought it to the show.
There's one final bit of tourism theory where it's that the meaning lives with the audience. So it's like whoever is perceiving the artist then becomes the person who perceives it. And maybe I butchered that, but same thing. So maybe we're the artists when we just look at the cool car and we're like, yeah, that's good, because we deem if it's good or not. I don't know.
One thing I was gonna say when Kevin mentioned that sponsored by this, sponsored by that shit, it's like I don't know what it is about that. Like obviously I need sponsorship. Other people need sponsorship. Nobody really just spends all the money on all the shit all the time. But it's like when you see a car that's like, oh, sponsored by this and sponsored by that and sponsored by that, and it's like, you know how sponsorship works, man. You need a fucking radiator. You're gonna talk to Mishimoto. You're gonna talk to Koi. You're gonna talk to CSR or whatever. Like, you probably want this rad, but you'll probably take whatever fucking rad you'll get. And like, I kind of think that shit sucks. It's like, oh, like sponsored by BC, and it's like, BC sponsors fucking everybody, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe don't take just the shit that you get, and like actually have some semblance of like, you know, what you actually care about in this car. And I'm not talking about SEMA cars here, because most of the SEMA, I mean, there are obviously probably SEMA cars like this, but this is pretty common in just like the general car scene. It's like you go on some dude's Instagram and it's like, oh, proud partner of this company and that company and that company and this company. It's like, and we get that shit all the time. It's like, I need this part. Can you guys help me out? And then he's probably sending that same email to like every other person that makes that.
I've literally had sponsorship proposal emails come through, and it has a different company name in it.
Yeah.
Like the 4 times that I mentioned SerialNine, like one of the other times is the other company, and you're just like, I did send it back. I was like, hey man, like next time you send a sponsorship proposal, like maybe like make sure it says the right company name in it, you know? Like,
yeah. And it's like at that point too, it's like you want to build a car so bad that like you don't even give a shit what's on it.
What
like you
parts
just want
are on it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'll take any wheels, like just whatever you can give me for cheap.
Yo, who's going to sponsor me? Like company A, B, C, or D. It's like, what's your fucking vision, man? The car, I mean,
honestly, that would be an interesting build. Like, just get whatever car you can get for whatever, and then just build it entirely with like the cheapest or sponsored parts that you can get, so that like you don't have a vision, it just comes together with whatever it comes together
but
with.
it's a sliding scale, because it's like the cloudier you are, the better sponsorship.
It's probably pretty easy for a cloud dude to get sponsors.
You'd be like, yo, I'm gonna build the car and this is what I want to be. It's like, yeah, for sure. And you run in those circles. I mean,
well, that's a pretty funny concept. Let's totally do that.
It'd still be a funny YouTube series.
Yeah, there's our new vlog. We're in the game. We're in the running.
Clout sponsors.
Yeah. I don't know though. I guess on the other side of that, I wonder though, it's like if any sponsorship you can get, probably to the dude that's trying to build that car, or lady, I guess it doesn't have to be a guy, to the person trying to build that car, maybe the flex for them is that it's sponsored. Like maybe it is that someone was willing to back them and then they don't actually care. Like maybe it's the sport of getting sponsored more than the part that you end up with.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, I think like with the social media component recently, there have been tons of brands that just sponsor like tons of people. Like,
yeah,
because sponsor means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And if you're a company that is just willing to basically give 10% off your cost right away to everybody anyway, then if someone sends you an email and they're like, hey, can I be sponsored? And then you're like, yeah, this is what you have to do, and we'll give you 10% off. Then like everyone's sponsored, you know? Yeah.
Well, but all those people probably, it's not like there's a sponsorship convention where everyone shows up and they're like, we're all, I mean, SEMA maybe, but they don't.
Yeah, basically SEMA.
Yeah, they're not like a sponsorship. In the day-to-day living, all those people exist in like separate spheres, and they get to be like, well, I was sponsored. And then I
want to get sponsored a sim rig. That's what I want to get. Anyways, go on.
Ken Gucci got sponsored a sim rig.
I know.
Lever 2000, Porsche Taycans, and sim rigs.
Yeah.
All this podcast is about. It's the only things we care about. No, but
I want my sim rig to be like I'm sitting in a Taycan.
That'd be sick.
Think that the people that get sponsored, that is their flex and their play, and they're probably fine with it, because it takes a certain type of person anyway.
To get sponsored.
I feel like it goes back to like skating and like surfing and like those extreme sports where you'd be like, all right, like I'm a sponsored rider, or like, you know, like I have my own board, or like, Whereas now it kind of just means something else, you know? Like,
you know what I'm going to say, though, going back to the YouTube and the vlog things? Because,
tell me more.
and we said we wouldn't keep talking about Adam, but Adam LZ said that he was never a sponsored BMXer, like initially.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, like, I was like, oh, that's really cool. He just keeps doing this. And then he's like, it was such an interesting.
Well, I'll tell you something cool that you may or may not care about, but Adam LZ bought our shifter almost anonymously, I guess, if you will. He just bought it off the site. The first shifter he ever bought off of us, we just like, oh, that's Adam LZ. Like, didn't email us, didn't say shit, didn't do anything, just bought the shifter straight off the site. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then after that, he asked, hey, like, I'm doing this other car. Like, would you guys like help me out with the shifter? And we helped him out a bit. You know what I mean? And to us, like that, as far as sponsorship, I mean, now that we're talking about sponsorships, which, I mean, we had a whole episode about sponsorships, but like, yeah, like when people ask for shit, it's like, you got to do some sort of work. You got to offer some sort of like loyalty or some sort of like you want this thing. This is the want. And like, you want us to facilitate you getting it. But like, there's something to be said about people just kind of like willing to buy the shit, whether you sponsor them or not. You know what I mean?
Honestly, like when Samet came to us too, Gerard was like, hey, there's this guy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't know. And then Samet was just like, yeah, whatever, I'll buy it all anyway. Like, and then the next time we were like, oh, totally. Like, you know, we'll definitely work with you now. Like, because like he paid full price. He like showed all the stuff on video, like talked about it. Like, yeah, it was great. And then we definitely saw a return. And like, unfortunately, that is one thing. It's like all the people who probably like need sponsorship, if you will, they're not going to get you any return. They're not making it to the shows. They're not, you know, like,
no,
it's unfortunate that like the biggest people get the most sponsorships because.
But I mean, in the same respect,
show business, baby.
Yep,
exactly. In the same respect, that dude already bought that part. Yeah. You know what I mean? He spent his own money on that part, and then
totally.
And then needed another one.
It's show biz, not show friends, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
No, I get that. And I think that is cool. And I think that's a pretty good takeaway but now the other part, going back into the vlogging sphere of it, is like probably the uptake of people that have taken up vlogging, not from our generation, but younger car generations, has increased, I would imagine. And do you think yeah, and it's probably as like seen as a means to an end to support what Gerard would call their drug addiction. But and I guess that is probably it, right? Is because like you start telling people what you guys just said, it's like the return on investment isn't there if you're like, well, I'm going to put it on Instagram and I'll put you in my stories. It's like, well, I always get a kick out of it because I've been around you guys. I don't know if I can say this or not. After I tell it, you can tell me if I should take it out. Is that when people email you, it is with very good intentions, but they're emailing an Instagram account that has almost 30,000 followers, and they have less followers than the Instagram account that they're messaging and being like, yo, can you sponsor me? And it's like, when you guys say that and I'm sitting there tippy tapping on my laptop, I'm like, I don't understand what those people bring to the table. And that is the unfortunate part about it, is just like, what is your reach? If it's going to be less than the company you're reaching out to, like, what is the benefit? And maybe that is why people want to get into vlogging now. They see the other people that have done it. And
hey, man, if you can make a living just filming what you're doing already, seems like a no-brainer.
It does seem like a ton of work, but yeah, I totally agree.
So it's like going to an office for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Like, if you could just go do the shit you want to do for 6 hours a day and then like edit for 6 hours a day, and now you're working 4 hours longer than you were before, but you're doing it for yourself and you get to do what you love all day, then maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but that's not the world I live in. So fuck everyone.
That's only because you don't want to live in that world.
No, but maybe
that's not true. I literally took weeks off work to come do that just for fun.
But if you have like a mortgage and a kid, it's probably not easy to take a year off and be like, I'm going to try and make it as a
it doesn't
full-time YouTuber. But if you're like a 12-year-old kid, it's probably
you just make the videos for fun anyways.
To make a video every day.
But
and then you just happen to be really good at it when you're 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
I do think though that there was probably a barrier. There was like a time that was more lucrative to get in, and I don't know if we've passed that time or not.
I would think we have, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's definitely probably not the same as it was in the beginning as far as monetization and stuff goes. I mean, everyone has a YouTube channel, whether or not it's good or whether or not they're YouTubers, I don't know, but like it is going to, at some point become a lot more difficult or a lot more, whatever it may be. But like, it's like, just do it, man. Do it and do your best or whatever. And if that's going to work for you, that's going to work for you. You know what I mean? But I do feel like it's kind of almost a necessity these days too, like especially as a company. Like if you don't have a YouTube channel or if you don't have a way to connect with your audience, you're probably not going to do so well. You know what I mean? People want to see who the fuck you are. I bet you people listening to this podcast would be like, hey, if I could see these guys talking right now, it'd be sweet. You know what I mean? Like
Gerard, they put it on the YouTube comments.
Comment in the YouTube, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean.
Like that's a lot of work. I don't want to edit out all the.
But you don't have to edit anything, man. We're just literally sitting here and like, you know what I mean? If you cuts, it cuts. Like, who cares what it looks like?
People start asking what happens to all the cut footage and the cut content. Because
we'll make an episode with all the cut footage.
It's all cut.
Then we'll all be canceled. Well, not me and Kevin, just Gerard.
Whatever, buddy.
No, my brother actually asked. He was like,
if Gerard goes down, I'm going down on the ship.
Yeah. My brother asked, he's like, would you ever put out all the stuff that you've never said? I was like, nope, not a chance. It doesn't exist.
I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
All right.
Why aren't there more cool cars?
Why aren't they're all at SEMA and we're not there?
It's pretty funny that like that episode, I guess like aired or whatever. And like, that is what it is. You know what I mean? That's what we talk about. That's how I feel like, but I guess like it is a pretty kind of like whatever aspect, if you will, of like, sometimes like even right now we're talking about other people's vlogs and other people's shit. It's like, it's just our opinion. You know what I mean? And it's like, if some people might like it, some people might not. And I guess that's why we're here.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think we've said anything super.
I think it would be fucking hilarious though. I remember back when I was younger, comedy was a lot different than today. Like fucking, you get Eddie Murphy raw on stage and that shit is like raw. It's crazy. Like the shit that they say and all.
We all saw the Chappelle meme. Go on.
Exactly. Right. And it's like today's day and age, there's so much shit you can't say. There's so much shit you can't talk about. And it's like, man, like stuff was.
We're not the ones
good
to fight that battle.
I don't know. Whatever.
Chappelle has the Mark Twain Award, so I think that's a different thing. Return to SEMA at some point, in some case, some form. Is that fair? Not fair.
I think so. Yeah.
I'd
like to.
Yeah, like there's lots you can do. There's everyone should go at least once, I feel.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build a crazy stage and we're gonna get the stage at a SEMA.
Yeah.
In someone's booth.
Yeah.
All right. So
there we go. You heard it here first.
If anyone wants to sponsor Gerard into next year's SEMA,
maybe like Thule or Yakima.
Thule racks. It's a wagon.
It's a wagon, yeah.
That would be pretty funny though. It's like you got this like ridiculous race car, you know what I mean? And it's got a Thule rack.
Like a color matched Thule rack.
Oh god.
The box.
So bad. So bad.
That's perfect for SEMA, man.
You know what though?
It would be full of stickers. People could just.
I was just gonna say.
stickers.
Okay, how about this? Okay, so like face.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I could imagine a Thule rack that had like a huge Oliver print on it, like you know how like the, like almost like remember the 326 luggage, where it's like. Says like 326 on one side and like power on the other side. It was so big. The SerialNine on that was so big that like you couldn't read it in one shot, or even you just couldn't read it all. It just said SerialNine, and like that might actually look kind of sick if it was painted on like that.
All right,
like the Supreme War, it just says like sup or whatever, and it's like.
So you want to go to?
So it just says sir,
big sir. Sponsored by.
I hate those racks though. Like
you hate those. Well,
Anyways.
now it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Also, the caveat here is that Gerard has to be sponsored car parts that he likes, because he's already made a big thing about like he does not a fan when people take handouts just for the sake of taking handouts.
No, I agree to that too, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm clarifying.
Summarizing.
Yeah, summarizing. You know what I am excited for, and it just occurred to me, is that so the stage is going to be built. And in the last podcast, we were like, you're putting V8 in there, right? Like, no. V8. And then
Still trying.
Still trying. They haven't gone back to you.
No, they haven't.
At one point, you're going to have to make a choice. And either you're
really
going to
soon.
get this engine, and we can say all the nice things about them on this podcast, or we can go back to, because you didn't ask them for sponsorship. You just asked them to give you an engine.
No, I just asked for any sort of pricing.
Give me some pricing,
Yeah.
And nothing.
Yeah. I mean, if I could get sponsored by Hartley, that'd be amazing. Amazing.
Right.
Like even just a little bit, that would be amazing. But like,
right.
I don't think they need it. I don't think they want it. You know what I mean? Like
it doesn't even seem like they want to sell you an engine. Like it seems like they could sell a part and they're like, we're busy, So like,
well, I mean, they got their own thing. They got to do a bunch of emails humming and hawing about one dude in fucking Canada buying like one head package and some cams. Like, I mean, we get that shit all the time. That's like somebody inquiring about, I don't know, like having 10 emails worth. Yeah, 10 emails worth to buy like one set of arms, when like there's people that buy that shit just at the snap of fingers without even emailing us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, they also don't have a site, and I can't just order the stuff off the site. So like that's a little bit difficult too. So
right. So I'm excited to see if your tune changes if they never get back to you.
I mean, at least we still have a 600 horse TJC.
Well, yeah. If I know one thing about Gerard is that he can sing a lot of different songs real quick. So I'm excited to see what that song.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So as far as vlogs go, people should vlog more. Is that what we decided on?
If you want to start a vlog, start a vlog.
Start a vlog. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, man. But I'm going to say this about your vlogs. Okay. Like, fucking cut the footage. I don't want to watch 30 minutes of some dude walking around a garage trying to put a fucking transmission on. Right?
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. Like, you do whatever you're going to do for however long it's going to take. Cut out all the fat. We don't need to see you try to put a bolt in for fucking a minute. Like, we don't need to see you look at something. I don't need to hear about your dog. I don't need to see you.
Some people might want to talk about the dog.
Yeah, I want to know about the dog.
Here's what I'll say to build on what Gerard's saying: make your vlog as long as it needs to be, but not a second longer. And that is how you do it.
Yeah.
I do think though that we as car people, if I've learned anything from this long conversation, is do we sometimes need to check our egos a bit or no? Or are we good just being like, fuck everything that came after us? Scorched earth type thing.
Scorched earth.
You can't
check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, chickadee check yourself. I think that's a fair takeaway. Good. All right. I don't know if I got anything else for you guys. I feel like that
Let's make some vlogs.
We're gonna wrap it up or what?
People.
Well, yeah, let's fucking put an end on this. Fucking put a cherry on this shit.
We're gonna put an end on it.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. Come again.
That's not a real.
That would be funny though.
Yeah. It's just like it'll stop mid sentence and be like, "Hey, we figured it out."
What do we say? Bye.
Yeah,
we don't do this anymore. I forgot.
Yeah, we only do it every 2 weeks. So the trail off here at the end gets a little difficult. I think we learned a little bit about ourselves as people and car enthusiasts. Probably not. Moral of the story. Maybe we'll go back to SEMA. We should all go to SEMA one day. We can
all hang out together.
All on this call, and whoever else wants to come along. And vlogs aren't so bad. Maybe we're just all a little bit shitty. That's my takeaway.
My take is I like vlogs. Vlogs are cool. I like content. Just don't make me watch you walk around a garage and try to put a transmission on for 30 minutes. It's fucking terrible.
Edit the hammer swings to the beat.
Yeah.
Kevin, what do you got for us?
Yeah, my takeaway I would just be, just do what you do, but keep doing it, and eventually people are gonna take notice of you.
Consistency is
People are gonna notice me. Oh my god.
Oh my god, yeah.
All right, for fuck's sakes. All right, team. Thanks
Okay.
for
Thank
stopping
you.
by.
Thanks for listening to Serial Podcast 9.